The world is holding its breath right now. The Strait of Hormuz, one of the most critical arteries of global trade, has been shut down. Oil tankers stand still. Markets tremble. Panic spreads like wildfire. Headlines scream of conflict, of chaos, of a world on the edge. But let me ask you, why are you surprised? Did you really think the systems of this world, built on greed, lust, and self, could hold forever? Did you really think peace was the default setting of humanity? There's a shaking happening, and it's not just in the Middle East. It's in you. Young man, you've been feeling it, haven't you? That knowing sense that something is off, not just out there, but deep inside. The relationships that don't satisfy, the success that leaves you empty, the distractions that numb you but never heal you. This moment is a wake-up call. The world's chaos is exposing our illusions, that we're in control, that we're strong enough on our own, that we don't need God. But listen carefully. What feels like the end can be your beginning. This isn't the time to panic. It's the time to rise. Because in the darkness, real men are forged. The question is, will you stay asleep? Or will you wake up and step into the life you were created for? The world is shaking. The Strait of Hormuz has been shut down. Oil tankers are stranded. Economies tremble. Leaders pace their war rooms with fear in their eyes. Panic is in the air. And yet, what if I told you this is not just about geopolitics? What if I told you the shaking out there is only a shadow of the shaking inside of you? Young man, you've been walking through life thinking you've got it under control. You've been told to build your career, your image, your status, and maybe even to stack relationships like trophies. But deep down, there's a storm. You feel it when you're alone at night, staring at the ceiling. You feel it in that emptiness after another shallow connection, another night trying to escape the ache inside. You see, we live in a world built on illusions, illusions of control, of strength, of permanence. But all it takes is one global event, one unexpected shutdown, to remind us how fragile it all is. And that's not just true of nations, that's true of you. What are you standing on? When the shaking comes, and it will come, will you remain standing or will you fall with everything else? The chaos in the world is a mirror. It's showing you the cracks in your own foundations. You've been leaning on things that can't hold you. A job won't save your soul. A relationship won't heal a broken heart. Money won't buy you peace. And yet you've been running on fumes, hoping something out there will fix the ache in here. But what if the shaking is mercy? What if the chaos is God's wake-up call to you? Because here's the truth you don't have forever. The world doesn't have forever. There is a day coming when everything that can be shaken will be shaken, and only what's eternal will remain. This isn't about religion. This isn't about being good. It's about life or death. It's about stepping out of the shallow, empty life you've been living and stepping into the life you were made for. The world is groaning. The clock is ticking. And your soul is crying out for something real. The question is, will you answer? You've been told all your life, be strong, be in control. Don't let them see you sweat. Don't let them see you bleed. And so you built walls, didn't you? You built an image, a fortress around your heart. You told yourself, if I just work harder, get stronger, make more, I'll be untouchable. No one can break me. But deep down, you know it's a lie. Because here's the truth, the illusion of control is the greatest trap ever set for a man. The Strait of Hormuz is a choke point for the world. 20% of all the oil flows through it. The world thought it was safe, stable, untouchable. But in one night, one decision, one blockade, the illusion vanished. Panic set in, and that's how life works. One phone call can end your sense of invincibility. One breakup, one diagnosis, one betrayal, and the fortress comes crashing down. You see, young man, you were never created to be in control. You were never meant to carry it all on your shoulders. That's why you're exhausted. That's why you feel hollow inside. That's why you can crush your career and still feel like a failure when you look in the mirror. Because power doesn't come from pretending you're invincible. It comes from knowing you're not and surrendering to the one who is. Listen to me. Your false strength has to break before your true strength can rise. It's only when you let go of the illusion, when you finally open your clenched fists, that God can fill your hands with what's real. Control isn't power, surrender is. But surrender isn't weakness, it's courage. It's stepping out of the lie that you're enough on your own and into the truth that you were created for more. For connection, for purpose, for life that's bigger than yourself. The world teaches you to conquer, to take, to dominate. But if you gain the whole world and lose your soul, what have you won? It's time to trade the illusion for reality. To stop playing strong and start being strong. The world is shaking. But this can be the moment you stop shaking with it. There's a sound in the air. Can you hear it? It's not the sound of markets crashing. It's not the sound of politicians shouting. It's the sound of a trumpet, a wake-up call. You see, young man, crisis is never random. It's never meaningless. When the world shakes, when systems collapse, when relationships fail and your heart breaks, it's not just tragedy. It's a divine alarm clock. God allows the crisis not to destroy you, but to awaken you. You've been walking through life half asleep, numb, distracted, scrolling through screens, bouncing from one shallow relationship to another, pretending everything's fine while your soul is suffocating. But now the shaking comes. The Strait of Hormuz closes. The global machine sputters. You feel the tension rise. And suddenly you realize everything you thought was stable isn't. This is the mercy of God. He loves you too much to let you stay asleep. He loves you too much to let you die in the illusion. Do you think the chaos in your life is punishment? It's not. It's an invitation. The question is not, why is this happening to me? The real question is, what is God trying to awaken in me? Maybe He's stripping away the things that never fulfilled you anyway. Maybe He's removing the idols you built, success, sex, money, approval, so He can give you something real. This is your moment. The shaking isn't random. It's tailored for you. Because God is calling the man out of the boy. He's calling the warrior out of the wanderer. He's calling the king out of the slave. But you have to decide, will you keep sleeping? Will you numb yourself with the next distraction? Or will you answer the call? Every crisis is a crossroads. One road leads back to the same cycle of emptiness. The other leads to transformation, to life, to purpose, to God. This isn't just about the Strait of Hormuz. This is about you. The world's panic mirrors the panic in your soul. But if you wake up now, if you let Him shake you free, you won't just survive, you'll rise. The world is screaming about war. Nations rising against nations, Strait of Hormuz blocked, markets trembling. But let me tell you the truth. The greatest war is not out there. The greatest war is inside of you. Young man, you feel it every morning you wake up. That battle between the man you were born to be and the man you've allowed yourself to become. You were created for greatness, not the shallow greatness the world sells you, but the kind that comes from a fire burning in your soul. Yet somewhere along the way you got tired of fighting, tired of trying, so you let apathy win. You settled for less. The war within is a war for your soul. It's the battle between light and darkness, truth and lies, life and death. And here's what the enemy whispers to you. You're too broken. You'll never change. You'll never win. But those are lies. God planted eternity in your heart. That's why no amount of pleasure can satisfy you. That's why no woman, no money, no success can fill the void. You were made for more. But understand this, the war will not end on its own. You can't scroll your way out of it. You can't numb it with entertainment. You can't drink it away, sleep it away, or work it away. You have to fight. But not with your fists, not with your pride. You fight by surrendering. Because here's the paradox: the moment you stop fighting God is the moment you finally win. Surrender isn't weakness, it's power. The world says, be a man, be strong, don't need anyone. But God says, be still and know that I am God. The battle isn't yours to win alone. The King of Kings has already won it. All you have to do is lay down your weapons, your ego, your illusions, and let him fight for you. Because once he takes over, the war within becomes peace within. And that peace, that's when you become dangerous, not to yourself, but to the darkness. That's when you rise as the man you were destined to be. The war is raging, but the victory is waiting. You've been told all your life that strength is holding on, that real men never break, that if you can just grip tighter, push harder, lock your jaw, and never show weakness, you'll win. But let me tell you the truth that nobody dared to tell you. Real strength begins when you let go. Look at your hands. They're tired from holding on to the pain of the past, the expectations of others, the fear of being rejected, the mask you wear every day so no one sees how lost you really feel inside. But clenched fists can't receive a blessing. When the Strait of Hormuz was blocked, nations panicked. Why? Because control was ripped out of their hands. They realized how fragile their plans really were. And isn't that you? You've built plans, relationships, dreams, and then life slammed the door shut. And you fought harder. You doubled down. You clenched your fists tighter. But the tighter you held, the more it slipped through your fingers. There's a reason for that. God didn't design you to carry the world. That's his job. Young man, surrender isn't the end. Surrender is the beginning. When you let go, you're not saying, I give up. You're saying, God, I trust you. And in that moment, when your knees hit the floor, when the tears finally fall, when you admit, I can't do this without you, something shifts, heaven moves, chains break. You see, the world measures strength by how much you can endure. But God measures strength by how much you can release. Because when you let go, he can step in. When you stop trying to be God, he can start being God in your life. That's when peace comes. That's when clarity comes. That's when you rise, not as a man pretending to be strong, but as a man infused with the strength of the Almighty. The most dangerous man is not the one who never falls. It's the one who falls to his knees and rises clothed in surrender. The question is, will you keep fighting God, or will you let him fight for you? The power is not in holding on, it's in letting go. Fear. That's what's been holding you back all this time, isn't it? Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of being exposed for who you really are. Fear that if you step out, if you speak up, if you try to love again, you'll get hurt. But let me tell you something no one else will fear is a liar. It's the oldest weapon in the enemy's arsenal, and it only has power when you listen to it. The Strait of Hormuz is closed, the world trembles, and fear spreads like wildfire. But here's what the world doesn't see. God does his greatest works in times of fear. Think of Gideon. Think of David facing Goliath. Think of Peter stepping out of the boat onto the waves. Every single one of them felt fear, but they didn't bow to it. The difference between the man who lives and the man who merely survives is this: one moves forward even when he's afraid. Young man, you've been sitting on your calling too long. You've been waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect relationship, the perfect finances, the perfect clarity, but that moment isn't coming. God doesn't wait for you to be ready. He calls you to step out in faith, and he makes you ready in the going. Fear says, what if I fail? Faith says, what if God shows up? Fear says, what if they hurt me? Faith says, what if I finally heal? Fear says, I'm not enough. Faith says, he is enough in me. It's time to step out, not tomorrow, not next year, now. Your destiny is not waiting for you in comfort. It's waiting for you in obedience. And when you step out, God steps in. That woman you've been afraid to love, she's not your savior, but she might be your partner in purpose. That calling you've been running from, that's where your joy will rise. But you'll never know until you move. The enemy wants you frozen. God wants you free. Step out, step up, step in, and watch the fear that has caged you for years crumble like dust. This is your moment. This is your call. Listen to me. Don't let this just be another video you watch and forget. Don't scroll to the next thing and bury this under the noise. You didn't find this by accident. This was a divine appointment. There is something inside you right now, stirring, burning, wrestling. That's not just emotion. That's the Spirit of God calling you to rise, to break free, to step into the man you were created to be. The world is on fire. The signs are everywhere. But even more than that, your soul is on the line. You've been running from the pain, the failure, the fear, but you can't outrun God and the truth. You don't need to. Right here, right now. Decide that you won't let fear keep you frozen anymore. Decide that you won't waste another year. Decide to step out even if it scares you, because that's where life begins. If this pierced your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Smash that like button to tell the algorithm this message matters. Drop a comment right now. I'm ready. No more running. Share this with a brother, a friend, a man you know is fighting in the dark. Don't leave him there. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Because what's coming next isn't entertainment, it's a lifeline. This is your moment. Don't let it pass.